Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
The Naga College Foundation Incorporated is a transformative learning institution that develops God-loving, globally competent, ethical, and socially responsible individuals and leaders who will create a positive influence and impact for the sustainable development of society. The Naga College Foundation Basic Education Department is committed to holistic formation of young lifelong learners equipped with 21st century skills to achieve academic excellence, spiritual, ethical, and moral character, social responsiveness, and global competence. At Naga College Foundation Incorporated, we embrace and achieve our vision mission through the application of our core values: quality, excellence, service, and truth. Our core values guide us in decision making and reflect our rich legacy of teachings and learnings.
NCF
And hello world!
pageants focuses not only on the candidate's natural beauty and handsomeness, it also reflects on their true character, charisma, physical vigor, personal style, and wit.
Mr. and Miss Junior and Senior High School will definitely change your perspective of seeing the true concept of beauty.
By providing authenticity and raising an awareness to advocate for resilience and empathy to other people, thereby giving pride to the vision, mission, and core values of the institution.
This time, we will witness 24 dazzling kings and queens as they showcase their beauty and wit. compete for one title.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the search for Mr. and Miss Junior and Senior High School 2021 Virtual Edition. Presenting the lovely candidates
With the Academy of Rookies.
Hey, my name is Carlo B. Clergo. I am 17 years old from Panikwaso, Naga City, and I am an advocate for human rights.
My name is Deo Francis Angelo Fetalino, 20 years old, Barangay Santa Cruz, Naga City. My advocacy is to inspire young musicians.
Hi, my name is Dan Lester Atencia, 18 years old, from Canaaman, Camarines Sur, and my advocacy is to strengthen education for out of school.
Hi, my name is Kevin S. Alarcon, 18 years old from San Felipe, Naga City, and my advocacy is all about HIV and AIDS.
Hi, my name is Michael G. Barcela, 17, from Calabanga, Camarines Sur. My advocacy is about loving someone regardless of their religion and gender.
I'm Leo Alexis Hernandez, 17, from Magsaysay Avenue, Naga City. My advocacy is pagtanom nin paglaom.
My name is Chris Rizal Patriarca, 16, from Milaor, Camarines Sur. Prevention is the cure, so my advocacy is about prevention and awareness of teenage pregnancy. Thank you. Maria Erica Jersey Bulaong, 18, from Canakman, Camarines Sur, and my advocacy is about sexual harassment. I'm Yona Jean Arbano, 17 years old, from Peña Francia Avenue, Naga City. My advocacy is about unity and friendship among students.
Isabella Carice Bennett Lee, 18, Naga City, Camarines Sur, advocating against animal abuse and other acts of violence. Hi, I'm Christine Joyce Aguilan Stephanie. I'm 17 years old, from Santa Lucia, Magarao, Camarines Sur. My advocacy is about adolescents' mental health awareness.
Good day everyone, I am Faiza M. Naval, 18, from Calabanga, Camarines Sur. And my advocacy is the role of the youth towards COVID-19 by the use of social media. Thank you.
Luis Nicanor C. Portillo, 16 years old, from Carrera, Naga City, and my advocacy is for equal rights and development.
Judy Polito, 14 years old, from Calabanga, Camarines Sur. My advocacy is to save our lungs and stop smoking.
Neil Cashan Arpatag, 16, from Del Rosario, Naga City. My advocacy is all about equal rights and development.
My name is Florencian L. Villa, 15, from Libotan, Naga City. My advocacy is all about health and wellness through sports.
Anferni Josh D. Benson, 15, from Balatas, Naga City. My advocacy is about prevention of addiction and other vices to the youth.
Luis Ronel F. Dolor, 17, Del Rosario, Pamplona, Camarines Sur. My advocacy is about employ and empower amid COVID-19.
Maria Tricia S. Lumita, 15 years old, Calawag, Naga City. My advocacy is all about embracing our body flaws.
Julia Sodora P. Buena, 15 years old, from Del Rosario, Naga City, and my advocacy is this is not the end.
Trisha Ashley R. Haushan, 15, from Del Rosario, Milaor, Camsur. My advocacy is all about teenage pregnancy.
Princess Pabia, 17, from Concepcion Pequeña, Naga City, and my advocacy is all about LGBTQ, health, and rights.
Ayumi Vita Hanami, 16, from Canatman, Camarines Sur, and my advocacy is all about clean and green environment.
Janine Beatriz Estela, 16, from San Felipe, Naga City. My advocacy would be all about strengthening the mental health of teenagers.
Thank you, Academy of Rookies, for that lively performance. And now that we've met our 24 dazzling kings and queens, it's about time for us to introduce ourselves. I am Jan Allen Aguilar.
And I am Ellen Nicole Vergara,
your host for this year's Search for Mr. and Miss Junior and Senior High School 2021 Virtual Edition.
With the theme,
A Crown to Advocate for Resiliency and Empathy. Because in Naga College Foundation, #We Care.
At this moment, we know that you are all excited to proceed to the next segment of our pageant.
Streetwear defines who you are. You can always choose the kind of style that will best describe your character without minding what other people will say about you.
It is who you are, so you should be proud. Do not pretend to be someone else by wearing overly dressed clothes with excessive accessories.
Street fashion is all about youth culture with colors, prints, and designs that are distinctive and modern.
With that being said, our criteria for judging.
Carriage and execution, 25%.
Beauty and personality, 25%.
Suitability and stage appeal, 20%.
Poise, posture, and bearing, 20%.
Overall impact, 10%.
Which gives us a total of
100%. So, here they are, the 24 candidates with their more unique streetwear style, which have emerged not from the studios, but from their very own grassroots.
This is
the Casual Streetwear Competition.
The youth finds it challenging to get their voice heard during any tough situations.
Yet, their voice must be heard on issues that are important to them. That is, to ensure that all people in society are able to speak up and make a stand through their chosen advocacy.
In this pageant, the candidates will not only show their beauty and poise, but rather, they will have the opportunity to voice out, express their views and concerns, and access information, advice, and guidance.
But before that, let us present to you the criteria for judging.
Content, substance, and relevance, 30%.
Delivery, clarity, and word choice, 20%.
Character and personality, 20%.
Poise, posture, and bearing, 20%.
Overall impact, 10%.
With a total of 100%.
Advocacy in teenage responsibility on social media platform. Social media is a big part of social and creative life of teenagers. The definition of fun and being in and updated depends on teenagers' awareness and involvement on any social media platform. Thus, it is also a way to maintain friendship with family. Nowadays, it's an extension of face-to-face interaction. Hence, there's a lot of benefits in social media, such as, first, faster literacy, exploring and experimenting to build knowledge. Second, collaborative learning. Teenagers can share educational content. Third, creativity, by doing profile pages, photos, and videos. 4. Mental well-being by constant connection to family and friends. However, a lot of risks such as being exposed or uploading inappropriate or upsetting content. Sharing personal information. That is why teenagers of today need to be responsible and vigilant in using and participating on all social media platforms. My advocacy goal is to minimize risk and have positive influence on social media platform. My advocacy strategy is to develop campaigns such as seminars and workshops, and if possible, create newsfeed content posts. Every teenager should learn how to manage the use of social media and be responsible. Social media responsibility boils down on our personal upbringing. Be responsible, be a role model, show positive influence, and everything will replicate.
Save our lungs, stop smoking. As a teenager, I've been seeing many people, young and old, smoking due to many reasons. Problems, boredom, or simply because they think it's amazing, it makes them cool. But have you ever think that smoking can cause a lot of bad effects, especially to our body? It slowly kills us while we enjoy puffing one stick of cigarette a day. Our lives and the ones puffing are like in a danger zone of pollution, and this needs to stop because it will affect many lives, including you. We should be taking care of our body and not using it as an experiment to try something bad. It's not yet late to stop this. We still have time to change and to put an end to this madness. How can I be heard? By posting a safety awareness campaign against smoking at all social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and IG. I can also conduct a mini seminar for them to gain more knowledge and information about smoking and how it can affect our body and our well-being. Doing little things like this can have a much bigger impact not only to us, but to our society in general. We are not only helping ourselves, but as well as the next generation for them not to do the same awful and painful thing all over again.
Advocacy for equal rights and development. Martin Luther King Jr. once said, "We have flown the air like birds, swam the sea like fishes, but have yet to learn the simple act of walking the earth like brothers." Good day to all of you. My advocacy is all about equal rights and development. This advocacy is very important to implement nowadays because, as we can see inside and outside our country, people tend to forget equality. I believe that equality can bring peace to all of us, and peace is all we need in this chaotic world. I have chosen this advocacy because I want all of us to be reminded that God made us equal, so we should have to treat others equally and give them their rights. For us to have equal rights, we must begin it within ourselves, followed by our family, friends, and other people. Let us practice ourselves to be equal, not just with our close friends or relatives, but to all the people, because they all deserve the equal rights. To all the parents that are listening, please treat your children equally so that they can also give others equal rights they need, even in small gestures. Because I believe that everything begins at home. Friends, let us be equal to one another, because I know that there are some of us that usually discriminate other people. We are all like brothers. Treat others equally even if you hate them or they hate you. Let us spread love, peace, and the equality we all deserve.
Health and wellness through sports. Ang paglalaro ng sports ay nagbibigay ng mahalagang benepisyo para sa mga kabataan mula sa pagbubuti at pagpapalakas ng kalusugang pisikal, mental at spiritual. Ang paglalaro ng anumang sports ay makakatulong sa atin ng pamahalaan ng ating timbang habang binibigyan natin ng mahusay na enerhisyo ang ating kalaunan at cardiovascular system. Ito rin ay tumutulong sa pagsunog ng calories. Ako po ay aktibo sa paglalaro ng taekwondo at madalas din sa swimming at biking. Nagsimula ako sa pagkahilig sa sports nang ako'y bata pa. Hanggang sa ngayon, ito ay ginagawa kong libangan at isang regular na ehersisyo. Natutulong sa akin na manatiling malakas at malusog na dadalhin ko hanggang sa pagtanda. Ang sports ay nagbibigay ng pagkakataon para sa bawat individual upang pagtagumpayan ang bunga ng kanilang pagsisikap tulad ng pagpapahalaga at pagpapalakas ng tiwala sa sarili at maaaring makapagbigay ng isang natatanging pagkakataon upang matuto at pahalagaan ang pagtutulungan at pakikisama. Bilang kabataan, hihikayatin ko ang aking kapwa na sumali sa isang sports club. Ito ang tutulong na matutunan lahat ng kaalaman upang sila ay humusay. Sa napili nilang sports, kasabay nito ay mararanasan din nila ang makipagkaibigan at makipag-ugnayan sa kapwa nilang maglalaro. Ang mga karanasang ganito ay tutulong sa isang mag-aaral na matutunan ang iba't ibang paraan ng pakikisama at pakikipagkapwa kahit na wala sa tabi ang kanilang mga magulang. Ang sports ay minsang nalilimutan pero ito ay mahalaga dahil dito nabubuo ang karakter ng kabataan.
We humans have been scientifically proven that we are absolutely prone to addiction. That's a fact. And this is the topic I have chosen today, the prevention of addiction and other vices to the youth, specifically drug addiction. Why did I choose such an advocacy? I chose this advocacy because I think that drug addiction is one of the factors that are slowly tearing our society apart. Let's take a cigarette for example. Light it up and smoke it. It hurts your throat, but you'd still want to try it again, regardless of the pain. Why is that the case? It's because of curiosity. Curiosity, in the right context, can be a result of many amazing things. Albert Einstein, for example, admitted that he wasn't actually smart, but he was curious. His curiosity shaped and changed our world forever, but in the wrong context, in this case, drug addiction, inversely, can be a result of many dangerous things. If you combine the youth with drug addiction, the result wouldn't be good. The youth is normally curious about complex things, and to prevent drug addiction, I am going to take that curiosity and drive that into greater things instead. The problem with the youth is that they see that drinking and smoking is cool or appealing, but it's not. It will never be cool. Do you think destroying your own lungs is cool? Probably not. Like I said, I am going to drive the youth's burning curiosity towards good things. Things like sports, art, or even music. How will I do that? By making the youth aware that doing drugs is not a right thing to do, and being addicted to it is worse. I teach the youth total awareness about these gateway drugs. So in that way, our world will become a better place. Just like our national hero, Jose Protasio Rizal Mercado E. Alonzo Realonda, who said, "Kabataan ang pag-asa ng bayan."
Employ and empower. In the world today, we are battling with a pandemic which causes a lot of retrenchment due to COVID-19. The community quarantine has restricted the movement of people in the city. Movement is limited to going to work and the access of basic necessities. To bring about this trust, malls were ordered to close. Air, land, and sea travel to and from were prohibited and curfew was imposed, among others. Ultimately, this would have an effect on businesses and the labor force. most especially to enterprises deeply affected by these quarantine measures. Sadly, this led to the closure of some businesses and the loss of jobs. Ladies and gentlemen, my advocacy is about employment and empowerment. Thus, I call it Employ and Empower amid COVID-19. I chose this campaign because it pains me to see that many people are struggling today. Families with a lot of children go hungry because the sole provider had been laid off from work. Whenever I go online on social media, I see posts about hunger, typhoon damage, and lack of resources to provide medical care. If we could just think of something on how to fight and address this problem, would it be nice to stand on our 2 feet again? But I don't have money. So you will say, but I don't have a college degree. But this, but that. Remember, we were born without anything, without any possession. But here we are. We are both breathing, we are both alive, and while we are alive, we still have hope. And we have our own potential. We have talents. I plan to start a manpower services so I could be able to hire people with talents and skills, such as laundry and house cleaning services, ironing, daycare service, barbers, gardening, and other related services. In fact, because my father is an engineer, my family has been providing work for our fellow kabarangay. We hire them as laborers, masons, and carpenters. This has been going on for so many years now, since I was a child. So you see, these manpower services are not new to me anymore. I know I can make this work. Let us help each other to live a decent life. Let us employ and empower amid the pandemic.
Advocacy for embracing our own flaws. Different people come in different shades, shapes, and sizes. None of us are built perfectly because all bodies are valid. We all have flaws and we keep wishing that they would go away. I also have flaws that make me feel insecure. But when we start to embrace those flaws, we will understand what the flaws are and the special reasons why we have that. We don't need to love our flaws. Instead, appreciate them because our flaws are a part of us that make us strong. I chose this advocacy to help the people that are struggling with body negativity because they are being defined by beauty. But we need to focus more on making sure that a person is valued more than just a body to view, and to empower everyone to feel comfortable in their own bodies. I want to use social media platforms to spread body positivity and inspire people that we are a lot more than what we look like. Start with yourself, love yourself as a whole, and appreciate the things that make you different from other people. Embracing your flaws doesn't mean that you'll refuse to improve yourself. Use your flaws as your guide for improving yourself. Let's empower people instead of telling them what they should look like in order to be beautiful. We should be careful of what we say to other people because our ignorance does not only affect people's emotional and physical health but could also take away their lives. Focus on their abilities, not their looks. Let's not try to fit into the existing standard of beauty because being yourself is so much better than changing yourself to be the person that other people want you to be. We may not fit into everyone's standard, but that doesn't mean we are not beautiful because we are a lot more than being beautiful. But positivity isn't believing that your body looks good. It's about knowing that your body is good regardless of how it looks. Stop looking for more until we could look through all those flaws and look into the mirror and see clearly that the person looking back at us was the only one who can make us loved and accepted. Because when you accept yourself, the whole world will accept you.
This is not the end. Sometimes we truly begin to find ourselves when we are so broken and weak. And at that moment, a spark ignites and we dig down and find the strength to stand and fight. With the global pandemic and this current school setup, many young people's mental health is at risk. The online presence through social media subjects to many scrutiny, criticism, and cyberbullying. Added to that are the pressure and expectation from peers, parents, and teachers. Due to this, depression becomes a common mental illness that teenagers go through, and if not addressed and given immediate attention and treatment, this may lead to suicide and death. A tragedy that can be prevented from happening if more people become aware of this issue, that most young people are silently battling within themselves. If someone says I'm depressed, people think it's a joke or they are just getting attention. But we need to realize that this is a cry for help. It is like being in a dark room without windows and the walls seems to be closing in. It is the feeling of being trapped within and there seems to be no way out. I would like to be a helping hand. I want to stretch my arms and get them out of the dark pit. When they hold on, I believe that one day they will have the guts to fight their way back up and see the light. I chose this advocacy because I hope to make a difference and improve the lives of young people living with mental illness by using my voice to fight stigma, raise awareness, and support others. As a student, I will spread awareness and information about signs and strategies to beat depression. Social media platforms will enable me to create posts dedicated to this advocacy. Given the chance to win this title, I will not miss this opportunity to promote and campaign for greater awareness regarding depression. If you realize that your friends are suffering from depression, please help them. Hear what they want to say. Listening will lessen their suffering. Make that person as happy as possible.
My advocacy is about teenage pregnancy, and I picked this topic to give you some ideas and knowledge about this situation. My advocacy is for the young generation to have an advanced knowledge on how to be aware of having an early pregnancy. I choose this because nowadays, I notice that a lot of younger women that were supposedly enjoying their life with their family and friends are facing the hardest reality of life. the unwanted pregnancy. I will implement this through social media like Facebook since our youth use it often. It can help a lot to spread my advocacy. This will become successful not only for me but for every young generation out there to choose the right path and to be aware. Teen pregnancy is a health issue that has an effect to all of us. A child having a baby as a teenager is more likely to face critical social issues like poverty, poor education, and risky behaviors that lead to poor health issues and child welfare. The financial cost of teens having a baby is financially devastating. Choose not to have a sex. Talk openly to parents or other trusted adults and ask how they can get birth control if they choose to be sexually active. Talk with a healthcare provider to learn about the best types of birth control for them and use it correctly every time.
LGBTQ Health and Right. Pinili ko po ito kasi lahat tayo ay may karapatang sumaya, gawin natin ang gusto at malaya tayong makikipagkapwa-tao. Huwag tayong mahihiya kung ano ang ating tunay na kaanyuan at pagkatao. Maging anuman ang ating anyo ay biyaya iyon ng Panginoon. Panatilihin lamang natin ang tiwala sa sarili sapagkat wala namang magagawa ang mga sinasabi ng iba. Maipapakita ko ito sa pamamagitan ng pagrespeto sa iba. Ganon din sa opinyon ng bawat isa. Ang pag-unawa ay tulay sa katahimikan. Maging bakla o tomboy man, ay pare-parehong may karapatang pantao na dapat igalang. Mga tao rin silang nasasaktan, kaya marapat lamang na sila'y makatanggap rin ng respeto. Sila rin ay nagpapasaya sa atin, at may karapatan din sila ibahagi at ipakita ang kanilang tunay na kulay.
Protecting the environment should be as important as the protection of our own life. I have chosen clean and green environment as my advocacy because it's urgent. Urgent in a sense that at this very moment, while you are listening to my short message, the very source of our existence are being cut down. Trees are vital for human survival. As cliche as it may sound, but that's the reality that we, human, often neglect. We are in an era where progress is almost synonymous to buildings, without realizing that while we are at the peak of our economic fairy tale success, we left our environment hanging at the bottom. It is as if we are getting the trophy while we are stepping on trashes, dead animals, and cut trees. When will be the time that we will realize that all of these things will be worthless if we will not take good care of our environment? Our nature is crying for help. Our nature is seeking for our immediate attention, and no one can help her but us, her people. It is now the time for us to make a change. As a student, if I will be given the chance to win this title, I will take this opportunity to spread my advocacy. I will intensify projects in our school that involves environmental protection, like tree planting, cleaning project, and other environment-related activities. This may seem simple, but together, we can be of great help to our nature. We will not wait for the time that we will be burned by the sun and drowned by the rain. We have to act now.
My advocacy is about strengthening the mental health of teenagers nowadays. The pandemic has brought us many difficulties, and it proves to be continuously challenging the norms that we grew up with. This includes the disappearance of the boundary between our academic and personal life. This has brought us different struggles for everyone, including myself, and adjustments that we all have to conquer as the days go by. I believe that we should take our time and focus on our mental health, for it is a foundation of ourselves. Maintaining a healthy mind would elevate our spirit, our physical body, and our outlook on life itself. This will help us in conquering the challenges that are thrown in our way. Nowadays, in the electronic era, teenagers such as myself spends a lot of time online. We are exposed to different platforms that we always take for granted. I believe that through creating a page, information dissemination would be easier and more accessible. I will create a Facebook and Twitter page that cater to issues and information regarding our mental health.
human rights and access to justice. In this time where social injustice is superior, stand your ground for human rights. I want to advocate for human rights that works on establishing public policy that in our home, community, and around local areas acknowledges, safeguards, and fulfill human rights obligations. I may not be able to fulfill those yet, but let us start actions by helping and protecting those people whom we may know were in a bad situation. Let us acknowledge each other's presence and spread awareness to people about human rights and access to justice for protecting people from discrimination, abuse, inequality, and corruption, as well as supporting local human rights organizations dedicated to such security. And who knows, somewhere in time, we may be able to live happily and peacefully because we did the right thing on fighting our rights and lighting up for justice.
My name is Deo Francis Angelo Fetalino. My advocacy is to inspire young musicians to pursue and improve their passion in music. I chose this to be my advocacy because I myself is a musician. And there are cases that their family or the people around them in general do not support them to play music, either as a hobby or a career. They always label it as a waste of time. Since I am already part of the local music scene here in Naga City, I can try to show them how things work here, that we can push them to improve their skills and talents, to motivate them, to show them that we are playing music because that's how we express ourselves to people. I will invite the young musicians to one of our gigs when we recover from the pandemic and let them observe and realize that the local musicians don't need validation from other people whether or not to pursue their passion. Or if ever we haven't yet recovered, I might create a YouTube account and start a vlog or documentary about the daily lives of local musicians to motivate and inspire them to show their talents and eventually excel in the field of music.
Sa 22% o higit sa 1,000,000 ng kabataan 15 hanggang 24 taong gulang ang nabibilang sa out-of-school youth sa bansa. Base sa huling datos ng Philippine Statistic Authority o PSA, ang mga tinuturing na out-of-school youth ay mga nasa edad 6 hanggang 14 na walang. Ang mga itinuturing na out-of-school youth ay nasa edad 6 hanggang 14 na wala sa formal na paaralan at ang mga edad 15 hanggang 24 naman na wala sa eskwelahan at hindi nagtatrabaho o nakapagkolehiyo o nakakuha ng pag-aaral matapos ang high school. At ang mga edad 15 hanggang 24 naman na wala sa eskwelahan at hindi nagtatrabaho o nakapagkolehiyo o nakakuha ng pag-aaral matapos ang high school ayon sa website ng PSA. Bilang isang kabataan na nangangarap sa buhay, kailangan kong tulungan at suporta ng ating gobyerno sa kanilang mga proyekto hinggil sa edukasyon para sa out-of-school youth. Ang gobyerno lamang ang may pinakasapat na kakayahan solusyonan ang ganitong problema. Sila ang may hawak ng educational budget ng Pilipinas kasama na ang pagpapatupad ng mga batas ukol dito. Ang maaari lamang nating gawin ay suportahan ng seryoso ang kanilang mga programa. Ito ay maaari kong simulan sa pamamagitan ng paghihikayat sa out-of-school youth ng aking barangay na ipagpapatuloy ang kanilang napintong pag-aaral. Maswerte ako na nakapag-aral sa isang pribadong paaralan. Bilang pasasalamat, pwede kong maibahagi sa mga walang kakayahang mag-aral ang aking kaalaman at karunungan. Kung nanaisin, pwede rin naman akong magturo ng libre sa mga out-of-school youth ng aking mga natutunan sa loob ng paaralan. Hindi naman nagkulang ang mundo sa mga may mabubuting puso at patuloy na nagdagsa ng tulong sa kabataan na katulad ko. Sa ganitong paraan, ako ay magiging kapaki-pakinabang sa komunidad na aking ginagalawan.
My name is Kevin S. Alarcon. My advocacy is about spreading awareness about HIV and AIDS. This is a sensitive topic, but everyone needs to be addressed, most especially the youth. We should be mindful and thoughtful to everyone. HIV and AIDS is not a social construction that divides us. In this time of pandemic, different social media platforms are the key in spreading my voice. I will personally create a digital art regarding my advocacy, and then I will post it on any social media platform. Thus, with the help of my colleagues, my advocacy will continue to spread. Without addressing the problems caused by the HIV virus, no real progress can be achieved. In schools, counseling, and peer education for HIV and AIDS prevention are proving to be far more effective. I will likewise be of help to schools in empowering them with proper knowledge and information to avoid the spread of HIV and AIDS. My primary goal is to help remove the stigma by spreading awareness through education, particularly targeting school children who can really make the change.
The COVID-19 pandemic has drastically changed the way we live, work, and learn. Our country is still facing many issues and concerns in the midst of health crisis. But despite of all this, there are a lot of things that have not changed and should still be continued and strengthened, like fighting for equal rights, dignity, and freedom. Everywhere in the world, people face discrimination because of who they love, who they're attracted to, and who they really are. As I've noticed from our generation, people feel scared to love who they really love because they are afraid to be judged. They are tired of those eyes that speaks discriminations. They tend to be alone because that is what they feel and that is what they're supposed to be. In this world full of expectations and conditions, instead of hiding behind fake relationship goals, why don't you try to love someone unconditionally? Why don't you try to love someone whom you truly love, whom you can be happy with, and who can become your strength in the worst days of your life? My advocacy is to encourage people to be strong, be themselves, and to come out to their closets. Through the rise of social networking sites like Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, let us encourage others and spread positivity to everyone who feels scared to be they really are. Remember that love knows no gender, no religion, neither it comes with any conditions. Thank you.
I am Leo Alexis L. Hernandez, 16 years old, from Magsaysay, Naga City. My advocacy is Pagtanom nin Paglaom. It is giving hope to our local farmers who have great contributions to our society in terms of agriculture. The advocacy is known as Neonormal Adventure. This is an adventure in agriculture where members are expected to engage in a tree wardship activities. They need to plant trees and share this experience to encourage more people to be engaged in this activity and raise awareness of the importance of the environment for human survival. I have my personal involvement to this ecological and environmental advocacy, which is meant to bring back the respect to farmers and people's agricultural spirit. I help in picking up and delivering plants to different ka-adventure. I also plant in pots to support this advocacy. We campaign through the use of multimedia, specifically Facebook. Instead of posting irrelevant information, why not be productive and post something that could help our community? We can raise this awareness by sharing this transformative initiative.
quarantine imposed by the government to contain the spread of COVID-19 has adversely affected micro, small, and medium enterprises or MSMEs in the Philippines. Many businesses suffered and most were affected, but others became resourceful and turned social media into a positive avenue to venture new or existing business through online platform. In this way, many people and even young ones were inspired to give it a try to do business, from selling plants, delicacies, RTW, homemade products, and many, many more. This motivated me to push this advocacy and promote Go Local. It is important to introduce trade among youngs like me, especially that nowadays we only stay at home most of the time due to the new normal being adopted in the school system. Going local will develop postal products that are easily available in the locality. By going local, it will be able to help MSMEs who have been severely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic to survive the storm and create opportunities for their recovery and growth. By buying local, it will help encourage Filipino consumers to patronize local products. I think that going local and buying local will be fun and helpful and will develop the ability of local producers, especially the young ones like me, to produce something out of nothing and make it an artistic inspiration and livelihood. Then later on, an opportunity for business. Example, if I am able to develop my own product, it will also give me an opportunity to hire people and employ them, which I can start with my family and friends. It would be fun. At the moment, I already started making my own small business project. Just lately, I am able to meet a local producer of cassava chips in Barangay Panikwaso, Naga City. I will be a reseller of their product and I will start by packing the cassava chips, which I will sell to my friends, to my family, and to our neighborhood. I want to set an example to my fellow teens. Instead of spending so much time for nothing or scrolling to Facebook or watching Netflix, we have to be productive and maximize our time for good. When we already have our own source of income, no matter how small it is, at least we can already support our own needs and we will no longer ask for our parents. I think that it's a gift when we transfer our imagination and energy into creating something new, something beautiful, and something that could be used to the communities within our reach. Small business entrepreneurs must be supported. Let us help them operate and allow them adequate opportunity for success. It is a call for rewarding hardworking and competent small entrepreneurs with the opportunity to see their dreams and aspiration to come true.
Hello everyone, I am Maria Erica Jersey Bulaong and I am an advocate against sexual harassment. Many would probably find my advocacy as a redundant and a boring one since they are not fully aware or they haven't experienced being a victim of it. This may sound extremely normal, yet I think this is truly significant, particularly in our age. The theme, A Crown to Advocate for Resiliency and Empathy, made me thought about these questions regarding my chosen advocacy. How resilient are the victims experiencing sexual harassment and how empathetic the witnesses are? My advocacy will help spread awareness about sexual harassment by conducting seminars, by sharing knowledge to people of what kind of harassment this is and why we should not stop educating people about it. Sexual harassment may seem like a norm in our culture. That's why my advocacy is entitled as Generation Redress, to correct the crooked mind of people, not only the victims but the offenders as well.
My advocacy is about unity and friendship among students. This aims to create a homey atmosphere for everyone, that daily we will look forward to being in school where we feel we are comfortable, we belong, and we found a support system. Our unity will begin within how we see ourselves by recognizing our own strengths and weaknesses. We will campaign for self-care, that we are all important. No one will be left out. Regardless of our religious beliefs, the kind of family we have, even the color of our skin. By being different, we can be united. We will post slogans on individual differences, friendships, and unity. We will have group chats on their chosen hobbies and interests. Then, if we will have a face-to-face classes, we will be having a handshake or hand gesture that will be known to all as a sign of unity and friendship. Conducting survey for students that includes their interests, sports, and the like will give us an idea on how to go about with programs such as Hobby Fair, Palarong Pambata, and Talents Night. These activities will encourage the students to be at their best, be friends with co-students, and eventually unite in doing other events.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Isabella Carice Bennett Lee, and I am an advocate of against animal abuse and other acts of violence. Animal abuse doesn't only hurt animals, it affects our entire community. Animal abuse has a strong connection to domestic violence, which means victims like cats and dogs are often used by abusers as pawns to control and manipulate them. An abuser may take advantage of the victim's concern for his or her animal. Abusers may threaten or abuse animals in front of children and partners to keep them from reporting abuse or leaving. By hurting the animals, an abuser is sending a message that a human victim could be next. Children who witness such abuse are 3 times more likely to abuse animals and to play a role in an abusive relationship later in life. Not only does an innocent animal get injured, but the person who commits the offense often falls into a cycle that could ultimately result into a violence against other people. Animal abuse, like many other forms of abuse, is about power and control over a helpless victim. I believe that the social media is a powerful tool to spread awareness since people nowadays are more inclined on their phones. One of the best ways for us to contribute and spread awareness of this matter is by collaborating with our local barangays and help educate people about being a responsible owner and encouraging them to spay and neuter their pets. By taking action against animal cruelty, we protect animals and may perhaps prevent additional crimes. Thank you.
Mental health refers to the psychological behavior of a person and their capacity to handle stress in life. And nowadays, a lot of us are suffering from anxiety and depression that can damage one's mental health, especially for us students. So in line with this, my advocacy is all about protecting adolescents' mental health. If all adolescents have good mental health, they will become more confident and more optimistic to fulfill every situation that comes in life. In order to become successful in this advocacy, I will make some steps to help my fellow teenagers in my own little ways. One of these is that I will share to other people my own story of mental health breakdown and how I survived them. I will give them a life lesson and try to motivate them that they can survive too their mental breakdown. Because the best way to have a good mental health is to help yourself rise from the ground. Make your first move to have a clear mind and the rest will follow. Before I end, allow me to leave a message for adolescents who are suffering from mental health breakdown. If you are feeling down, it's completely fine. But if you let yourself go down, you need to refine.
Advocacy about the role of the youth towards COVID-19 through the use of social media. The pandemic is not over. Still, there are cases coming up each time, every hour, in every region. We may not see it, but it currently exists as we live in our little home. In the present situation, the youth are prevented to step outside their house. It is the least they can do to stop the spread for being asymptomatic. Well, it is not a lie. But why can't the youth do more than staying at home for months when they can certainly possess the literacy of media, which generally means the wisdom of online world? This ability to understand the codes, observe, and manipulate are powerful today, which is why the youth's role in this disastrous time is spreading and observing facts about the ways of prevention, such as proper washing of hands, proper wearing of face mask and face shield. These should be accentuated because from what I have observed, most of the people wear their face mask lower than their nose, and face shield worn on their heads and not on their face. Not only that, the youth should also seek knowledge about vaccines and identify false data.
I'd like to emphasize once again that the pandemic is not yet over. And we must not stop what we did when it was new. I'd be pleased to take advantage of this moment where people spend most of their time online. To the youth, let us do our role. Even if we are at home, we can still do our part. Play your role in this society as we are not helpless. Use your voices, your ability once again to spread credible information, knowledge about preventing COVID-19, cancel false news, and observe proper netiquette. We can solve this pandemic together. So let us join in this social awareness campaign. Share, comment, like through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, even on YouTube, and be a part of the solution.
Fascinating. The candidates truly show their personality and confidence, right, Alan?
Undoubtedly true, which is why streetwear, culture in modern day society, is a big part of many people's lives.
This kind of wear has large influence on modern culture and will continue to do so for many more years.
Indeed, streetwear is a fashion statement that will never, ever die. Stay tuned in Seance, because the most significant part of this year's pageant will begin in a short while. What can I say, Ellen? The advocacies we heard were all relevant and beneficial as they talked about issues and problems concerning the youth and how they can be of help even in their own little ways.
Indeed, Alan, these advocacies will protect and promote the rights of the youth, have their views and wishes considered when decisions are being made about their lives.
Ladies and gentlemen, may the voice of the candidates be heard and make a difference. At this juncture, you will meet these extraordinary people who are as gorgeous and as smart as our candidates.
These selected judges have all been visible and active on stage as they have already won numerous titles in local, national, and even international pageants.
Not only that, they also have talents and skills in singing, hosting, public speaking, vlogging, and modeling.
They are also excelling in their chosen courses and also in extracurricular activities like the Student Campus Government and Community Extension Services as officers and leaders.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are our highly exceptional group of judges. Judge number 1 is an active advocate of quality education for all, which extends to children on the level of the grassroots. She was hailed as the Buswak Tumatarok Festival Queen 2018 and the third runner-up of Miss Silka Bicolandia 2018. She is also the reigning Daragang Magayon Pequeña, Mutya ng Partido Tourism, and Binibining sa Mod Festival 2019. As a sophomore in Universidad de Santa Isabel, she actively serves as the Vice Governor of the Institute of Tourism and Hospitality Management Students Organization. A host and a model, this 20-year-old beauty queen and student leader is all the way from Goa, Camarines Sur. Let's welcome Miss Mary Joy A. Darilan.
Judge number 2 is an AB Communication graduate of Ateneo de Naga University. His interest in the field of pageantry began when he won as Mr. Youth Naghenyo 2013, Mr. Pintacasi 2015, and Mr. Baao Bicolandia 2017. In 2018, he got the chance to join a national pageant where he won Mr. Gentleman of the World Philippines and eventually winning an international title of Mr. Gentleman of the World 2019 held in Indonesia. He also excels in music when he became part of the Voice of the Philippines Season 2 under Team Apple. He was also a defending champion last March 2020 in Tawag ng Tanghalan at Showtime. He is a vlogger, singer, host, model, and a product endorser. Let us all meet our judge number 2, Mr. Mark Angelo C. Avila.
And judge number 3 is a third-year Bachelor of Science in Hospitality Management in Universidad de Santa Isabel. She is a senior model of Modelo Bicolano and was also crowned Miss Tugawe Cove 2019. She was also a finalist of Miss Kaugma and Miss Bicolandia beauty pageants. Let's welcome Miss Prisha Ann P. Toral.
Thank you, judges, for gracing this significant event. Your presence is well appreciated.
It is a bit hard to judge virtually, but with your patience and kindness, all this will turn out beautifully and positively. Semi-formal dress codes call for a more relaxed and flexible look than what's required as formal. It is a way of telling guests to put on something nice without requiring them to purchase an expensive gown or rent a tux.
Going to work in formals helps you create an image of yours. Dressing correctly helps you stand apart from the others and be a role model for others.
Not only that, dressing formally does not only reflect your image, but also the place or organization you represent.
But before that, the criteria for judging.
Carriage and execution, 25%.
Beauty and personality, 25%.
Suitability and stage appeal, 20%.
Poise, posture and bearing, 20%.
Overall impact, 10%.
Which gives us a total of
100%. And now, let us go through the importance of semi-formal fashion as we present to you
the Semi-Formal Wear Competition.
candidates truly slayed the runway, right, Ellen?
Indeed, Allen. It is essential to look sophisticated, elegant, and neat like a formal event in your semi-formal attire.
Semi-formal is a flexible dress code. As a result, there is enough room for experimenting with your look.
Do whatever you like,
but never underdress.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River. Life is older than the trees, younger than the mountains, growing like a breeze. Country roads take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road. All my memories gather round her, minus lady, stranger to the water, dark and dusty, painted on the sky, misty taste of moonshine, teardrop in my eye. Country road, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home, country road. I hear her voice in the morning, how she calls me. The radio reminds me of my home far away. Driving down the road, I get a feeling that I should be home yesterday, yesterday. Country road, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country road, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country road, take me home. Down country road, take me home. Down country roads.
We've come to the most exciting yet unhappy part of the pageant as we trim down the numbers from 6 to just 3 candidates.
The scores from all segments were added and averaged to determine the top 3 finalists.
40% of which was taken from the advocacy statement segment, 30% from the streetwear, and another 30% for the semi-formal competition. A total of 100%.
Then, the scores of the finalists will be back to zero and will proceed to the final round, which is the question and answer portion, which will happen very shortly. The overall general criteria will be used to determine the winners and the runner-ups.
So, here are the top 3 finalists. We begin with the junior high school boys.
Finalist number 1 is Neil Cashion Patag from grade 10 De Ferro. He is advocating about equal rights and development in education. Finalist number 2 is Anferny Josh Benson from grade 9 Gratia, with an advocacy focusing on prevention of drug addiction among the youth. And finally, our finalist number 3 is Luis Ronel Dolor from grade 10 Pilautia with an advocacy entitled Employ and Empower Amid COVID-19. Now, it's time to reveal the top 3 finalists from the junior high school girls.
The first finalist is Maria Tricia Lomitaw from grade 9 Victoria with an advocacy about embracing body flaws. The second finalist is Ayumi Tokonami from grade 9 Libertas with an advocacy focusing on clean and green environment. And the third finalist is Janine Beatriz Estela from grade 10 Shalom with an advocacy entitled Strengthening Teenagers' Mental Health. At this point, we will reveal the top 3 finalists from the senior high school boys.
Finalist number 1 is Dio Francis Angelo Fetelino from grade 12 Elpis with an advocacy about how to motivate and inspire young musicians. Finalist number 2 is Kevin Alarcon from grade 12 Charis with an advocacy focusing on spreading awareness about HIV/AIDS. And finalist number 3 is Leo Alexis Hernandez from grade 12 Tapenos with an advocacy entitled Pagtanom nin Paglaom. And now, here are the top 3 finalists from the senior high school girls.
The first finalist is Maria Erica Jersey Bulaong from grade 12 Alithea with an advocacy entitled Generation Redress, a fight against sexual harassment. The second finalist is Isabella Caris Benay Lee from grade 12 Virtus with an advocacy about fight against animal abuse and other acts of violence. And the third finalist is Faiza Noval from grade 12 Apelotes with an advocacy focusing on the role of social media towards the youth during COVID-19. There you have it, our top 3 finalists from the junior and senior high school candidates. All of them are deserving indeed.
Up next is the highly anticipated portion of the pageant, the question and answer round.
So just stay where you are.
And we will be right back after these ads from our sponsors. We have now reached the most crucial part of the pageant, the question and answer portion. This is a make or break for the finalists to determine who will emerge as the winners in this virtual pageant.
In this round, we will gauge how smart and intelligent our finalists are as they answer the questions, focusing on 2 important values: resilience and empathy.
This was taken from the focal theme of the pageant, which is a crown to advocate for resiliency and empathy.
Here are the criteria for judging.
Beauty, character, and personality, 30%.
Substance, clarity, and wit, 30%.
Stage presence and execution, 20%.
Poise, posture, and bearing, 20%.
With a total of
100%.
Each of the finalists will draw a strip of paper from the bowl containing a number from 1 to 3. Each finalist is given 60 seconds to deliver his or her answer.
The finalists will be assisted by the lovely Junior High School Governor and Miss Intrams 2018, Miss Shia Marie Roda.
Let's begin with the finalists from the Junior High School Boys. Finalist number 1, Neil Kashan Patag. You pick question number. When will you know you have achieved resilience in your own life? When will you know you have achieved resilience in your own life?
I already know that I have achieved resilience in my own life because I am still here trying to fight for what I want and keep striving harder for my dreams. I've been through a lot of difficulties all throughout my journey, but I choose to fight and continue for my dreams. Just like my father, before he became a successful businessman, he first went through a lot of trials. He may not overcome all of those trials, but it doesn't become a hindrance for him to strive harder to succeed. He taught me that if you want something, you need to devote your time and effort to it. He inspired me to build my own business at the right time, and in case I sink, I will strive harder not to drown, but to get back to the top. Because I believe in a saying that life is like a wheel. Sometimes you are on the bottom, but soon you will get back to the top.
Finalist number 2, Anferny Josh Benson. Since you picked question number 3, here is your question. Can you describe a situation when you or someone you know has demonstrated resilience? Can you describe a situation when you or someone you know has demonstrated resilience?
Yes, the situation I have experienced was back in 2020 when Bicolanos were hit by a devastating storm named Rolly. Me and my family were shrouded by a melancholy mood due to the situation we were facing. As for myself, I was feeling desolated because I cannot communicate with my friends or my relatives. But then again, I have to compose myself, move on, and do something that will keep my hopes up as well as for my family. We played a lot of board games to forget what happened, to just be happy, because we know that we will get by with a smile. Thank you.
And finalist number 3, Luis Ronel Dolor. You picked question number 1, so here's your question. Think of someone you know who is resilient. How do that person show that he or she is indeed resilient? Think of someone you know who is resilient. How do that person show that he or she is indeed resilient?
Thank you for that wonderful question. And I quote, I refuse to sing. You may have broken my heart, but not my spirit, is what my mother believes. My mother had been in the toughest situation, but she came out alive and well. She never gave up on her responsibilities. She never gave up on us. She believes that whatever comes her way is just a stone to step on. I admire her resilience. She was not fragile like a flower. She was fragile like a bomb. That's all. Thank you.
Next, we have the finalists from the Junior High School Girls. First finalist, Maria Tricia Lumitaw. Since the number of the question that you've picked is number 3, here is your question. How can you build and develop a culture of empathy in your own daily life? How can you build and develop a culture of empathy in your own daily life?
Every day, I am learning to understand other people's experiences and perspective, showing them that I can listen and I can respect. Because I believe empathy is not about what I would do or what I would feel. It's all about the other person. And if we choose to understand than to judge, that's how we can build and develop culture of empathy.
Second finalist, Ayumi Tokonami. The number that you've picked is number 1. Here is your question. What role has empathy played in your life? Share a time when you have experienced or have witnessed empathy.
Being able to understand another person's thoughts and feelings is a gift. I was raised in a family where empathy plays a huge part in dealing with misunderstandings. As a student, being able to understand what my classmates and friends are going through with these difficult situations makes me realize that we really need one another. We must also understand the hardships that our teachers are going through just to pull off one lesson. With this, I've come to realize that if we will be empathetic towards one another, there will be no room for hatred, and this world will be filled with love. Thank you.
And the third finalist, Janine Beatriz Estela. The last question is the number 2, or the second question, which is, who is the most empathetic person you know? How does it make you feel to be around this person? Who is the most empathetic person you know? How does it make you feel to be around this person?
So thank you for that question. The most empathetic person that I know is my best friend Erica. She has deeper understanding when it comes to a person's struggle. She always tends to put herself into someone's shoes even when the situation may be a struggle for her. Being around her and observing the way she thinks and acts makes me develop the good deeds that she has. She's one of the nicest and the purest person that I've known so far. I thank you.
We shall have a short break, and when we come back, we will immediately proceed to the question and answer round for the senior high school finalists.
Maybe lock the door and turn the lights down low, and put some music on that's soft and slow. Baby, we ain't got no place to go. I hope you understand. I've been thinking about it all along. Never feel a feeling quite this strong. I can't believe how much it turns me on just to be your man. There's no hurry, don't you worry. We can take our time. Come a little closer, let's go over what I had in mind. We will lock the door and turn the lights down low, and put some music on that's soft and slow. Baby, we ain't got no place to go. I hope you understand. I've been thinking about it all along. Never feel a feeling that was quite this strong. I can't believe how much it turns me on just to be your man. Ain't nobody ever loved nobody the way that I love you. We're alone now, you don't know how long I wanted to. Maybe lock the door and turn the lights down low and put some music on that's soft and slow. Maybe we ain't got no place to go. I hope you understand. I've been thinking about it so long. Never feel a feeling that was quite as wrong. I can't believe how much it turns me on just to be your man. I can't believe how much it turns me on just to be your man.
Let me call on center stage the first finalist from the senior high school boys, Dio Francis Angelo Fetalino. Since you've picked number 3, here is your question. Is being resilient a character trait or a learning process? Why? Is being resilient a character trait or a learning process? Why?
Thank you for that wonderful question. Being resilient, it can be a character trait and also a learning process. Because whenever a person feel down themselves, they can use that experience. So in the future similar scenarios, they can use that experience so he or she can handle it way better than before. Thank you.
The second finalist, Kevin Alarcon. You've picked number 2, so here is your question. How do you develop an attitude or a mindset that fosters resilience amidst this crisis? How do you develop an attitude or a mindset that fosters resilience amidst this crisis?
During this pandemic, it brought a lot of hardships to us. But resiliency alone cannot keep someone alive. You know, resiliency during this type of pandemic is more on accountability. People like us, resiliency is our instinct this time. So, we live with instinct and we live with our own resiliency and we keep on living. But during this pandemic, it's more on accountability and it's not within us.
And the third finalist, Leo Alexis Hernandez. You have picked number 1. Here is your question. Do you see resilience as being a quality that someone can learn or develop? If so, what small steps do you think you can take toward becoming more resilient? Do you see resilience as being a quality that someone can learn or develop? If so, what small steps do you think you can take toward being more resilient?
Good afternoon, everyone. I believe that in life, everything is a learning process. Our being resilient is being molded by our experiences in life. We have become wiser and better from our previous selves because we have gone through this process. We cannot experience true joy and happiness if we don't have experienced difficulties and sadness. Our resilience is being measured by how many times we stand when we fall.
Starting with finalist number 1, Erica Jersey Bulaong. The number that you've picked is number 2. Here goes your question. Can empathy be seen as a weakness more than a strength? In what way it is associated negatively? Can an empathy be seen as a weakness more than a strength? In what way it is associated negatively?
From my standpoint, I think I can see empathy as a strength, however, not to the extent for it to be a weakness of an individual. Empathetic people can encounter lots of selfish and ruthless people that are all among us, and it can be associated negatively when it can lead to unhealthy helping that enables poor performance or irresponsibility. It can also lead to excessive self-sacrifice or helping in ways that compromise your integrity. Nonetheless, empathy is at the heart of what it means to be human.
The second finalist, Isabella Carice Bennett Lee. The number that you've picked is number 1. Your question goes this way. In your everyday activities or routines, where do you see the most amount of empathy and the least empathy? In your everyday activities or routines, where do you see the most amount of empathy and the least empathy?
Good day, everyone. I see most empathy when I see people that experience the same challenges or the same hardships that I've been through myself. But it is only applicable for us teenagers. When it comes to adults, it is different. I see empathy towards them when their hardships are visible. Let's take for an example, an old lady who works in the market early in the morning, selling foods, selling fishes, and then she go back home on the afternoon, carrying weights from what she's been through. And when she got back home, she will see her husband laying in the bed, sleeping peacefully, haven't prepared the table yet, haven't prepared the food for the kids. And you know why? Because her husband is drunk. And that is where my least empathy comes in. Thank you.
And the third finalist, Miss Faiza Naval. The number that you've picked is number 3. Here is your question. How do you empathize with experiences you've never had yourself? How do you empathize with experiences you've never had yourself?
Thank you for that wonderful question. I have never experienced the life of being a mother. But hear me out. This is what I do. I always listen to her stories, understand the pain she's been through, and put myself into her situation. The care, the sacrifices, the deep emotions she experienced, I can see them and I feel them. Whenever she cries, my tears fall down into my cheeks. I empathize her, and it is as if our hearts are connected as one. Thank you.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The question and answer segment have just been concluded.
Up next is the most awaited portion of the pageant, the announcement and crowning of Mr. and Miss Junior and Senior High School 2021.
take their final look and impression of the finalists, combining all together their beauty, poise, personality, and of course, their intelligence and advocacy.
Let's begin with the junior high school finalists.
Now, let's take a last look of the senior high school finalists.
The dreams of these candidates will definitely come true as we shall soon reveal our second runner-up, first runner-up, and the new Mr. and Miss Junior and Senior High School 2021.
All of these and more will be made known in just a while.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Like a small boat on the ocean, sending big waves into motion. Like how a single word can make a heart open. I might only have one match, but I can make an explosion. And all those things I didn't say were wrecking balls inside my brain. I will scream on the loud tonight. Can you hear my voice this time? This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove that I'm alright song. My power's turned up. Starting right now, I'll be strong. I'll fight my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes. 'Cause I still this is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove that I'm alright song. My power's turned up. Starting right now, I'll be strong. I'll fight my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes. 'Cause I still but I can make an explosion. This is my fight song. Take back my life song. Prove that I'm alright song. My power's turned up. Starting right now, I'll be strong. I'll fight my fight song. And I don't really care if nobody else believes. 'Cause I've still got a lot of fight left in me. No, I've still got a lot of fight left in me.
We've finally come to the most awaited portion of the pageant. The announcement of the second runner-up, the first runner-up, and the new Mr. and Miss Junior and Senior High School 2021.
But we will keep you in suspense for a moment as we hand over several special and minor awards to the deserving candidates. Let us all watch this.
Congratulations to all the recipients of the special awards.
At this time, we would like to acknowledge once again our minor sponsors.
Milko Tea,
The Luises Desserts,
Liza Bridal Center,
and Shanolic Lounge Nail and Spa.
Thank you so much to our kind and generous sponsors. We would also like to recognize the efforts of the Supreme Student Council, headed by the junior and senior high school presidents, Miss Clarice Victoria Flores and Miss Katrina Eliano.
Also, big thanks to the grade level officers headed by the governors and the vice governors.
And also, we extend our gratitude and appreciation to our Board of Judges, composed of Miss Mary Joy Darilay, Krisha Antoral, and Mr. Mark Angelo Avila.
Acknowledgement also goes to our dearest Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Aida P. Osea, and our Principal, Mr. Al Noel Asis, for their support and approval of this virtual pageant.
Gratitude is likewise extended to our assistant principals, BED academic supervisors, and the SSC advisors.
And of course, to our Student Affairs Coordinator, Mr. Joward Marasigan Jocos, for his untiring care and support.
And let's not forget the virtual pageant's official photographer and videographers, the very talented and skillful SSC officer, Mr. Kairos Philip Ponyado, and One Media TV 48 Naga. Now, this is it!
After tabulating and tallying the scores, and as duly verified by the Supreme Student Council officers and advisors, here are our winners.
Good luck to all of you! The runners-up and title holders shall be receiving a sash, a certificate, a cash prize, and a crown.
We begin with the Junior High School Boys second runner-up. The second runner-up is finalist number 1, Neil Kashan Pata.
Next is the Junior High School Girls, second runner-up. The second runner-up is finalist number 1, Maria Tricia Lumitaw.
At this time, we shall announce the first runner-up for Junior High School Boys. The first runner-up is finalist number 2, Anferny Josh Benson.
Next is the Junior High School Girls first runner-up. The first runner-up is finalist number 3, Janine Beatriz Estela.
And finally, our Mr. Junior High School 2021 is finalist number 3, Luis Ronel Dolor.
And our Miss Junior High School 2021 is finalist number 2, Ayumi Tokonami. Now, we shall proceed to the announcement of winners for the senior high school.
We begin with the senior high school boys second runner-up. The second runner-up is finalist number 1, Dia Francis Angelo Fetalino.
Next is the senior high school girls second runner-up. The second runner-up is finalist number 1, Maria Erica Jersey Bulaco.
At this time, we shall announce the first runner-up for senior high school boys. The first runner-up is finalist number 2, Kevin Alarcon.
Next is the senior high school girls first runner-up. The first runner-up is finalist number 2, Isabella Caris Benay Lee.
And finally, our Mr. Senior High School 2021 is finalist number 3, Leo Alexis Hernandez.
And our Miss Senior High School 2021 is finalist number 3, Faiza Naval. There you have it. We all have witnessed the crowning of this very first virtual pageant, the Mr. and Miss Junior and Senior High School 2021.
To all the winners, carry on your title and crown with kindness, respect, and humility.
And to the rest of the candidates, congratulations as well. Your efforts and dedication are well appreciated.
Promote your causes concerning the youth and continue to be an advocate for resilience and empathy.
This has been your host, Jen Allen Tandog Aguilar.
And this is Ellen Nicole Verstoza Vergara.
See you again next year for the second edition of the Search for Mr. and Miss Junior and Senior High School 2022.
Hopefully, we will go live for 2022.
Stay safe and healthy by following the standard health protocol. And we end by saying, at NCFBed, #WeCare.
All mga kalisir